Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on stratigraphy. Today we will discuss various physiographic divisions of India and some basic concepts related to it. Then we will study the first craton of our discussion, that is Dharwar Craton. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. Tectonically, India is divided into three parts. The southernmost part is called the Peninsular India, and above it is Indo-Gangetic Plain, and at the topmost we have Peninsular India, which contains Himalayan mountain. Talking about the Peninsular India, the majority of the peninsular region contains Archean rocks dating back billions of years. There was no life on Earth at this time, so there are no fossils at any sort of these rocks. There are predominantly gneiss and schist, which are metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rocks are those that have heated under extreme temperature and put under tremendous pressure. This generally occurs when the rocks are pushed deep into the Earth's crust, when tectonic plates collide and mountains form. Schists are called the Deccan Trap basalt. The peninsular region also contains a large igneous rock formation called Deccan Trap basalt. These ancient lava flows flowed to the surface roughly to 60 to 65 million years ago, which is around the time of extinction of dinosaurs. This volcanic event is estimated to have lasted from several months to a few years, and the basalts formed are around 2000 meters thick. The peninsular India comprises the Indian Shield and its Proterozoic and Phanerozoic cover. The extra peninsular constitute a part of alpine Himalaya tertiary mountain belt. The geomorphic characters of these young mountains are in contrast to largely peneplain and plateau mountains of peninsular India. The geomorphic features of these young mountains are very much dissimilar to that of the peneplain and plateau mountains of peninsular India. The Indo-Gangetic Plain extends from the mouth of Indus River, draining into the Arabian Sea in the west through the northern plains of India to the great deltaic Sundarban, where the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river system together drain into Bay of Bengal. Look at this table. This table gives you an overview of the major stratigraphic units of India in different time intervals. In Precambrian time, we have Dharwar, Bastar, Singhbhum, Bundelkhand and Aravalli Craton. Similarly, if we consider Proterozoic era, then we will have Delhi, Vindhyan, Kadapa, Satpura and Eastern Ghat mobile belt there. Now, for Paleozoic era, this succession is missing in peninsular India and it is present in Himalayan region. We can get some groups like Paleozoic of Kashmir, Paleozoic of Spiti, Salt Range of Pakistan, etc. Similarly, for Mesozoic, we will have Triassic of Spiti, Triassic of Kashmir, Jurassic of Spiti, Jurassic of Kutch, Cretaceous of Spiti, Cretaceous of Trichinopoli, Cretaceous of Narmada Valley, etc. Now we have a succession called Gondwana supergroup, which starts from Carboniferous and it ends in Lower Cretaceous. That means it is present from Paleozoic to Mesozoic era. Also in Cretaceous we have Deccan Traps. Now for Tertiary, in Eocene we will have Ranikot and Lackey Formation. In Oligocene we will have Murray Formation, and Myo-Pliocene era we will have Siwalik group. Then for Quaternary era, for Pleistocene we will get Korevas of Kashmir, and for recent we will get recent alluvium. Okay. Now one thing to consider here is, normally if we study anything then we study from top to bottom, but in stratigraphy we do the reverse. That is, we study the rocks from bottom to top, that is from older to younger succession. That's why whenever you are asked the succession of any supergroup or group, then you should start from the bottom and go towards the top. Okay, now let's discuss the rocks of Precambrian era. Now before studying these Precambrian rocks, we would like to introduce you to some new terms that we will frequently encounter while studying the Precambrian rocks, and they are craton, shield, mobile belt and platform. Now see, what is a craton? Craton is a stable interior portion of continent which characteristically composed of ancient basement rock. Craton is an old and stable part of continental crust. These have undergone no deformation, no seismic activity, or no tectonic activity or any kind of volcanic activity there. So you can basically say this is not the margin part of the plate, but it is the interior of the plate which has not gone much deformation since its formation. Okay. Now these cratons are generally overlain by Proterozoic sediments which are called as platforms. Okay. But at some cases the craton is exposed to the surface. So that is called sealed. Now what is a mobile belt? Mobile belts are formed due to plate motion, their convergence, seismic and volcanic activity. For example, Himalaya, Alps, Rocky Andes, etc. Aravalli and Eastern Ghat are also called as cratons earlier, but although there is no movement now, there was some movement in the past. That's why we call them mobile belts. Now see, mobile belts are approximately of the same age as cratons and seals, but in the formation of craton and seal, there is no tectonic activity involved, whereas in the formation of mobile belts, tectonic activity is involved. And how do you know that? We get paired metamorphic belts, we get rocks that are characteristics of plate subduction, plate collision, etc. in the mobile belts. In this figure, you can see all the cratons of India. They are Dharwar Craton, Bastar Craton, Singhbhum Craton, Bundelkhand and Aravalli Craton. Okay, now let's discuss them one by one. First, let's discuss about Dharwar supergroup. Archean rocks of South India is called Dharwar supergroup. They are best developed in Karnataka and adjoining states. At the north, it has Deccan Troughs, and in the east, it has Eastern Ghat Mobile Belt. Similarly, in south, it has southern granitic terrain, and in the west, of course, it has Arabian Sea. Now see, Dharwar is broadly divided into two parts. One is Eastern Dharwar and the other one is Western Dharwar Craton. And these are separated by a granitic intrusion which is known as close-plate granite, which has an approximate age of 2600 million years. Now see, in this figure, to the south of Dharwar Craton, you can see two lines that divide Dharwar Craton and Pandyan Mobile Belt. The first line, which is not mentioned there, that is the first line is called as the Farmor line, and the line next to it is called as Palghat Kaveri Shear Zone, which is also known as PCSZ. Okay, if you broadly say, then the southern granitic terrain also comes under Dharwar supergroup. But we get two different grade of metamorphism in the north and the south of Dharwar Craton. That's why, in order to differentiate these, we draw a line which is called as the Farmor line. Okay. Now, the region south to the Farmor line up to the south peak is known as southern granitic terrain, and the region above it is known as Dharwar Craton. Okay. Now when we say that there is different grade of metamorphism above and below Farmor line, then we must specify what it is. Okay. So the rocks which are present south to the Farmor line have a high grade of metamorphism, whereas the rocks that are above the Farmor line, they form a low grade of metamorphism. That is, they show no metamorphism at all, or max to max they show green traces of metamorphism. Okay. One more thing that we should note it, that the regional strike of Dharwar Craton is north northwest to south southeast. Now let's discuss the succession of Eastern Dharwar Craton. The base of Eastern Dharwar Craton is not yet known, and above it we have Salem group and Warangal group whose age is not yet determined. Okay. Next we have Yashwantpur Formation and Kolhan group, and above it we have Charnokite and Younger Dharwar. Now in Kolar field we have three more divisions, that is Sakkar Sahanali Formation, Goldfield Volcanics and Champion Gneiss. You must have heard about the famous goldfield in India, that is Kolar Goldfield. This is a part of this Kolar group of Dharwar Craton. Once upon a time, 90% of the gold production of India was from Kolar Goldfield. But now the production rate of gold from Kolar Goldfield is higher, so government has decided to sort this up. So although there is some gold left in Kolar Goldfield, but the mining here is stopped by Government of India. Okay. Now let's talk about Western Dharwar Craton. It has its base at Sargur group. Below it we have Gorur Ness, which is of 3300 to 3400 million years. Above Sorghum group, we have Peninsular Gneiss, which has an age of more than 3000 million years. Above it, we have the deposition of Dharwar supergroup, which is again divided into Baba Budan group and Chitradurga group. The age of Baba Budan group is 2.91 to 2.72 billion years, whereas the age of Chitradurga group is 2.72 to 2.66 billion years. Okay, now see, here we have a angular unconformity that differentiates the Dharwar supergroup from Peninsular Gneiss. Okay, now the Baba Budan group is again divided into Kalaspura, Alampura, Santaveri and Mulangiri formation. Similarly, for Chitradurga group, we have Bani Villas subgroup and Rani Venur subgroup. Okay, the lithology here is not of much importance, but you must remember that the rocks of Dharwar group has banded iron formation in it. That's it for today, guys. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.